Hi drawing students, I'm going to show you today how to choose an image and set it up to draw your grid practice onto your paper. So at this point you should have already watched the video on how to draw a grid on your paper without a ruler. If you have a ruler and you want to measure it out, that's fine. So I have the images already in Notability. I'm going to choose the headphones for my subject. So what I'm going to do before I start drawing is actually just take a screenshot of the headphones and save it to my photos. This will allow me to just kind of keep it on my screen a little longer, and also I can mark it up and not worry about it too much. So I'll go back to my photos and grab the image of the headphones. So when I've got it here, I see that I have 6 boxes, so I have to make sure I have 6 boxes on my paper. It's 2 across and 3 down, 2 across, 3 down. That's all I need. Now to start my drawing, I can choose to draw it out with a pencil, or I can draw it out with a color pencil. I'm going to actually start with my regular pencil, and I'm going to draw
Top left
box first because I'm right-handed. If I was left-handed, I'd probably have this set up differently, but I would be drawing probably the top right box over here first. So I always start at the top and work down so my hand doesn't drag over all the rest of my image. So I'm going to sketch it out with pencil and then color it in and show you the example one little box at a time. So we're going to focus on this one section. Now in this one little section, I can also go to edit and markup to help myself out so I can see where the middle would be. I'm going to just grab my color. I'll grab a different color, grab green. And I'm going to just divide it in half so I can kind of see where the middle is. And this is not super exact. I'm going generally. And then I'm going to put those 2 lines in my image here. And then I'm going to look at how far is this point from the edges, or from the center and from the edge. I'm going to mark where I think it is, right there. And then I'm going to go down. It hits this middle line, probably somewhere near the center. And then it doesn't go all the way to the bottom of the box, it bumps out. So I'm looking at this corner, how far up is it? Something like this. So now on the other side, I'm doing the same thing. I'm looking at how far is it from the corner. And then from this corner. So we've got the general shape of it. Now there's some other details here. Like I noticed this color change right here, and it's slightly above this middle line. So I see it start. My middle line is pretty rough. Try and put that back in a little more clearly. Yeah, it's about there above the middle line, and it comes up and it curves down. Okay, and down here, looks like there's a slight gap. I'm looking at how far down it is from the center. And it kind of does the same thing. So I have the general shape. Now I notice this color is different here than this, so I'm going to actually continue this down. And then there's this light shape right here that I need to include in my drawing, so I know where that highlight goes, because that would be an area where I'd be adding white. Something like that. And then over here I notice another color change. So it starts from this little corner and it comes down, but it doesn't go to the corner here. And this is darker blue and that's lighter blue. Okay, so I have this all drawn out. Now I'm going to take my color pencils and get started, but before I do that, I'm going to erase this middle line out because I don't need it any longer. And I'm actually going to try and make all my pencil lines a little lighter and more broken up. Blue is pretty dark, so it will hide some of these lines, but I don't want the pencil lines to be really visible. Now you can draw the whole thing out first. I'm just going to draw in color one box to show you the way this kind of works. So I can see in the negative spaces out here that I'm pretty okay as far as accuracy, and I see that this top box is a darker color. So I'm going to start there and just color this in. It looks like it's all about the same and slightly lighter over here. And to make this the dark color I need, I'm guessing that I'm going to use some shades. So I'm going to go over this once. Because if I push really hard with this blue up here, it's going to be pretty close, but I'm probably going to add black to it to make it slightly darker. Then I'm going to go over this part to make it a little darker here. And on this edge, I know it's going to be darker yet. So that looks like a pretty good start for this box. And then this is lighter blue in here, this whole section, and then right here it's super light. So that part that has the bright light, or this light highlight, I'm actually going to go over that with white right now. And there's some pencil lines in there I should probably try and get out. Just go over that with some white. I'm hoping that by putting this white down first, it'll make all of my blue a little lighter. Now I'm going to take the blue and go over it, and I'm not pressing hard. And I'm going to skip that highlight spot. And I notice it's a little lighter here and a little darker there. It's definitely darker up here, so I'm going to make sure that stays darker. This is lighter. There's a little bit of a darker glare in the middle of it. I'm going to go back with white and see if I can burnish this and make it a little lighter. And I'm pressing pretty hard. Changing directions, going over it again. And you can use oil and alcohol on these if you want to make them burnish that way. But white doesn't work very well when you burnish with oil and alcohol or whatever medium or solvent you've chosen. I'm going to go over this white highlight a little bit so it looks slightly blue, and then I will color on it in an opposite direction. Okay, that looks good. Now coming down here, it's blue. And it looks like it's a little brighter. I might try adding something else over it, like the other blue I have. And then this comes down. And then change direction and go over it again. And just before I mix another blue into this, I'm going to try it right up here. Yeah, I think that looks good. So I'm going to put this other lighter blue color over the top. And then I might burnish with this darker blue over here. Over here. Okay, cool. So the top part of this next part over on this edge is darker. I'm going to fill that in. And this is a little darker right here, and then it gets lighter on that edge. And now I'm going to go back with black. So I want this to have a little bit more of a darker shadow. This is a little darker in some spots. And I kind of feel like this part should be lighter. I'm going to try and lighten it up with some white, and I'm pressing really hard. This should be lighter as well. At this stage, I'm continually adding different tints, shades, tones, and going back and developing the layers so that the colors in my drawing match the colors that I'm seeing in the picture. So I keep going back and forth with white. You'll see me add more dark blue, light blue, black, to just bring clarity to the image because I know the outside shape of it is correct. Now I'm trying to match the colors that I see on the inside. And each box of this grid roughly took me, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes. So as I continued from here, I drew the next box. I did blend with some oil and alcohol in this center box as I was trying to finish it up. And then I had it all drawn out with pencil, and I went on from there and colored in, trying to match the light and dark values that I saw in the picture. I did erase most of the pencil lines so that they were gone, except for the grid lines at the end, and my final stage looks like this.